How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and we have another in our series of Understanding How to Build series, where we go over each of the leaders in the first set to help you understand how to build them and play them to your best ability. Because each character, you have a lot of different characters, and each one has 4 different kind of aspects it can go for in the like combinations. So we're helping you to understand how to build it your way to benefit you and to suit you. So we've done most of them now. We're on to the last 2, and we're on the last 2 of Cunning as well as the last 2 of them all. And we're on the heroic side now, start off with Han Solo. So if you're interested in Han Solo and help understanding how to build him for yourself, then feel free to stay along. And if you're looking for deck profiles, unfortunately, that will not be something you'll find here, because we're not giving out deck profiles. We're helping you have a bit more knowledge and help you understand how to build any of the different leaders, and in the best way to suit yourself when it comes to your different type of playstyle. So, before we get into the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps you keep updated with my videos when they drop. And by clicking the notification bell, you can get alerts to when they do drop, to watch them there and then, or at a later time that suits you. So with that out of the way, let's go have a look and help you understand how to build Han Solo. So this is Han Solo, and he is a pretty nice one. He's one of my favorite ones. I haven't had a chance to actually build him because I remember I was inspired by when I saw the designer's deck on it using the red one to go like a full heroic build for some fun shenanigans. I thought that was pretty cool. Didn't really properly try it out, but have it ready to try out if I want to. Just haven't been able to get many games in with it. But he is one of my favorite leaders in the game, and because he's in one of my favorite aspects, being Cunning. So it's a pretty nice leader. He gives a bit of ramp, so he gives ramp outside of command, which is very rare. And he doesn't deploy too late, but then he doesn't deploy the earliest, deploying at 6 resources. And his only trait is Underworld, so he doesn't have any rebel or anything like that, because it's back in, I think, episode 4, when you first see the character. He's not really a rebel or anything, he's just like a smuggler. So he's only got the Underworld traits, so he doesn't get much benefit from it. But he does come in with some decent different stats, being 4 power and 6 health, so not the best as like HP, but at least it's out of range of being instantly taken out by takedown, which is nice. And he does have a nice effect on the front side, where when on the leader side. So action, meaning you have to basically have to tap him, and then you can put a card from your hand into play as a resource and ready it. So you can like ramp up an extra resource just to cost you a card from hand, and that can kind of really like wither your hand in the beginning where you don't have many options because you don't draw too much. And then at the end of the start of the next action phase, you have to defeat a resource you control. So when you go into your next turn, you have to defeat a resource you control. But then luckily there's some benefits you get with like Millennium Falcon and stuff. But it means you can like get a temporary ramp, so you get access to an extra resource by using it for your hand. But you don't get it permanently; you just get it for that turn. And then when you do deploy him, that means you can deploy him a bit earlier, because remember, if you ramp go to 5 resources and you need to have 6, you want his ramp to get him out of the turn earlier, so he has that benefit for himself. And then when he's deployed, his effect is now on attack, so he has to attack to trigger it, but it doesn't have to survive like some other ones that need to like at the end of the battle or anything like that. He just has to attack, and this one allows you to put the top card of your deck into play as a resource and ready it, and then at the start of the next action phase, defeat a resource you control. So once you deploy, you then stop using your hand to resource cards. You start using this on top of your deck. So unfortunately, you can hit some things that you might not want to hit, but still you're not like dwindling your hand like you are in the when you're in the leader area. But this allows you to ramp more. So even on the turn you deploy, you can drop him out and then ramp up 2 extra resources, which is quite really nice. And you pay something even bigger quite quickly as well. So it's a really good deploy turn. So this is the lead, and he's also he gives you access to both Cunning and Heroism for his traits, so you get access to those 2, and you got some pretty nice cards in them. Now these are the different aspect combinations you can get with Han Solo. So as I said, you get a combination of aspects among your leader and base. So with the leader himself, you get access to Heroism and Cunning, so you're stuck with those. But then depending on what base you choose, you can either have access to also Vigilance, Command, Aggression, or Double Cunning. So we've already seen that, like if you check some of the other ones, like double aspects, give you a slightly smaller card pool, but access to 3 very strong cards, for set 1 at least. So hopefully we get more support in double aspects, and as the pool grows, we'll get more sets. But still, he's got 4 different combinations you can have. And before we go into those combinations, we're going to go ahead and look at ratios. I like this in each video, because the benefit of ratios is that you can run up to 3 copies of any given card. And there are some benefits to running over 3, 2, or 1 copies of a card. So usually, if you got like a card you really like, you want to use it, and you want to see it as much as possible and play as much as possible, you're normally going to max them out at free resource, like free copies. So you normally do that, especially with like things like Millennium Falcon here. Very strong card, very good costing, very good stats, and very good ability. It's very good for a legendary. So a card like this, you want to kind of see as often as possible to drop it and basically play it. So you normally play it as free. And you get some cards that you may not want to have early, you want to have later, and you don't want to really clog up your hand. You normally have things like this normally comes in the category of like high costing cards, where they're not normally good to play early because they're too high costing. You don't got the resources to play them, but you don't want them to, and you don't want them to clog your hand early and just not be able to play. Because if you have to charge a lot of them early, you're not going to see them for the late game, and you don't want to keep hold of them in your hand in the early games while you wait, because you've got quite a low on the hand size early in the game, and you don't want to have basically even less options than you normally have because you're holding onto cards waiting for the late game because you draw them early. So copies of cards you normally want two of, and normally cards you want to see in the later game but don't want to clog up your hand. So you normally have an almost maximum amount of copies, but one less you can hopefully not get clogged and see them later when you need them. And a good example of this is Bamboozle, a card that you don't really want to. It's not going to be the best in the early turns, but the later turns can really turn the tide and help you out. And that brings us to copies of cards that you have one of. And these are normally for tech choices or cards that really you don't care if you do see them or not. It's just the cards that could be really helpful in specific situations. And if they come up and you have it, great. If they come up and you don't have them, not an issue. And if you don't come up to a situation where it's relevant, you don't see them, you don't really care. So these are normally cards that you want to like take a card in. Maybe if I feel like it could be handy, especially in like turn one of a best of three game, when it could come up against a specific situation, it could be useful. But like I said, they're cards that you put in for the potential that the situation might come up. But then if you don't see it, you don't care. But if you do see it, depending if it's useful, you've got it. If it's not useful, you can always resource it. So that's the explanation of the ratios, and hopefully that helps you out before we go on to check out the aspect combinations. So let's go have a look. And like always, we're going to start off with the double aspect, because this good thing to understand is that for each aspect, you have an access to that whole card pool. So if we're having two different aspects, like in the different color ones, you get access to a larger card pool. But by going for a double aspect, you sacrifice a larger card pool that we've got, even because with set one, we do have a limited card pool because there's only one set, but still having two different aspects, you have access to a larger card pool. But by essentially with double aspect, you limit yourself to having an even smaller card pool, sacrificing a whole other aspect to have access to currently only 3 double aspect cards. Like as we get more sets, we'll have more double aspect cards, and hopefully grow bigger to be more valuable double aspects. But currently, there's only a few leaders that kind of really benefit from that double aspect. But luckily for Cunning, it's a really nice one because all 3 of the other double aspect cards in Cunning are really nice. But you are sacrificing your card pools, but not all leaders can benefit off this unless you feel like you can benefit greatly off these double aspect cards. Then I wouldn't recommend it. And Han is one that can benefit more from different aspects, but can also do well with this. You can try it out and it will do alright, but it does better with some of the other aspects because you have access to more cards and more things you can play off for more combos. So with every aspect, you've got 3 bases you can use. You've got 2 vanilla, skillless bases that have 30 health, and then you've got 1 rare base in each aspect that has 25 health, so a little bit less, but that sacrifice in health becomes at the benefit of having an epic action. Epic actions are actions you can use once a game on a card, and for Jealousy, it isn't the best. It's probably the least useful one out of the 4, and it's give a non-leader unit -4 power for the phase. You don't give it to a leader, but you can essentially give any non-leader unit -4 power, so it makes it so that it can't do as much damage back to you for that turn, or you can then try and take it out through attacking and take less damage back on your units. So things like that. And the double aspect card you got in double Cunning is Bodhi Rook, a nice one to help control your opponent and kind of like really helps take out some annoying events your opponent might have. Because when he's played, you look at your opponent's hand, get the hand knowledge, and it's got any non-unit, so meaning any event or upgrade, you can look at your opponent's hand. Very handy if you're going first against a deck that has a command and want to go ahead and ramp. So when you get your turn 2, before they can play their resupply, you can play it, rip the resupply from the hand, and hold back their ramp for a turn. And you've got Katina Bouncer as well, like not the greatest stats for a 5 cost, but still 3/5 is pretty nice. And he's got a nice effect where it allows you to return any non-leader unit to his owner's hand. And we've seen that like events like Waylay have done very well, and Katina bounces down on a body, a little bit more high costing, but can bounce either any card, any any non-leader unit, be your opponent's or yours. You can even recycle Bodhi to play it out again for that like nice little hand control route, or you can bounce on your opponent's high costing cards or one of their cards to hold it back off. And bouncing back the hand is pretty relevant in this game because there is a summoning sickness, meaning you can't cards come in exhausted unless otherwise stated. So that's very handy for that. And you've got Cunning. So every double aspect has an event, a 4-cost event that's named after its own archetype. Aspect, not archetype, and gives you 2 of any 4 effects to use. And Cunning has some really good ones. So it either allows you to bounce back to hand any non-leader unit with 4 or less power. So it's really handy. You can give a unit an extra 4 power for this phase. It does the reverse of Jealousy, where having -4, you +4. You can exhaust 2 units for that nice bit of control, and then you can either make your opponent discard a random card from the hand, give it a bit more hand control, which is very nice. And one thing I like about the Cunning aspect is a very nice control aspect. So you essentially get access to those 3 cards by sacrificing a whole other aspect. So even limits your card even more, but it could go quite well for hand. I haven't tried it myself, but it's a nice option because double Cunning is the better out of the double aspect ones, because as all 3 of its cards are extremely useful and all the time, whereas the other ones like kind of vary. So that's double Cunning out of the way. Now we'll go into the first one of the other aspects being Vigilance, and this is a nice one. Probably not the best to go at hand, because it hasn't got the most it kind of benefits hand in the fact that most of the like heroic side of Vigilance or Blue have are quite high costing for stuff, but then Han also does have the traits to kind of really benefit, like from Obi-Wan Kenobi here. It doesn't really have the benefit of getting the full effect by needing a Force unit, and same like with the Ghost, it's not Spectre, so it doesn't really get a benefit of like putting shields and stuff. But you do have some nice cards in it, and also your rare base for Vigilance is Security Complex, which its epic action allows you to give a shield token to a non-leader unit. So that can help you protect any unit from damage once, which is quite nice and can really be helpful. But then like the kind of special units you've got that are really good for heroic side of Vigilance is like Yoda. Gives you a bit of heal, not too bad stats for its cost, and also when defeated you can choose any player, including yourself because you are a player as well, and draw cards. So it's quite nice, it kind of gives your card back when it goes. You got some Spectres as well, like Kanan and Ghost. Kanan only offer a bit more mill if you want to, and a bit of healing as well, while Ghost can protect any other Spectre unit that comes down shielding itself. So Kanan and Ghost could be a nice little combo if you can get Kanan out and Ghost. You can kind of use the Ghost to protect Kanan, while he comes down he can got decent stats. And then you've got some of the other ones for the Jedi, being Obi-Wan Kenobi, giving you a bit of Sentinel in your ground arena, and when defeated gives 2 experience tokens to a friendly unit, which could be beneficial, especially since your opponent has to go through it to get to your base or any of your ground arenas units. And if you do give the experience to a Force unit, which might not have many played or many stick around, you could draw a card. So you might not get the full benefit, but you can at least get the 2 experience. And you've got Luke, which is a very nice one, allowing you to get a bit of healing with restore free. So when it swings, it heals free. Very solid stats. And when he's played, you can give a unit, your enemy unit, -3 for the turn. And if you lost a unit during that same turn, you can give it -6/6 instead. So you can potentially take something out, or you can weaken something, or you can just take it out with no problem. So that's the heroic side. Remember, there are both heroic side and non-heroic side to each of the aspects, like there is a dark and a non-dark side. And you've got some pretty nice cards in the non-heroic side as well, because you've got Regional Governor, a very nice control card, allowing you to, when you play it, name a card, and while Regional Governor stays on the board, your opponent can't play the named cards. You can name something you don't want your opponent to play, and while Regional Governor's on board, they can't play it. And if you can protect Regional Governor, keep it around, your opponent will never get to play that card. So a pretty nice one. More of a sideboard card, but something you can potentially main if you haven't got many options. You got Rogue Survivor as well, a pretty high costing card. Not too bad on stats, but has grit, meaning that the more damage it takes, the more stronger it gets, because that damage goes into its power. And it's got an on attack where if you control leader units, so hopefully you can keep Han around on board, you can draw a card each time he swings, which is very nice. Gives you more cards, more options, which helps since Han kind of like dwindles his hand in the early turns to get you some ramp to kind of do things quicker and play bigger things out quicker. Then you got some nice upgrades like Electro Staff, being a nice little boost to any unit, and also giving it a nice little benefit of if it's attacked, it takes 1 less damage, which is quite cool. And then you got some very nice removal events in Takedown and to Vanquish. These are very nice, giving you different options. Takedown allowing you to hit less of a target, but also to hit leaders with it, and costs a little less. Where Vanquish allows you to hit anything that's not a leader and instantly defeat it, which is cool. So that's the Vigilance or Blue, and that's quite a nice one. It doesn't have the best options, but I would say like it's a good one to go for. Just as probably one of the along with the Double Cunning, one of the least likely ones to go through with the least options compared to the others. Then we have Command. Now, of course, Hamp ramps itself, and Command is the aspect that has other ramp. So immediately it goes well together, and also you got some very nice cards in the heroic side of Command as well, and also it comes with one of the best bases in the game, being Energy Conversion Lab. This is your rare base, and its epic action allows you to play a 6 cost or less from your hand to give it ambush for its phase. Now, do note you do have to pay the cost for this base, while the card you play off this, you're not paying it for free, but you're giving it ambush, and you'll be thinking, what's the benefit of that if you've still got to pay the cost? Well, you're giving it ambush, that's the benefit, and ambush is a nice keyword, allowing you to attack the same turn you play it, but into another unit. So it allows you to give an ambush to a card, mean you can play it out and attack your opponent's units the same turn you play it, whereas normally you play it out, it comes in exhausted, can't do anything, so you have to wait a turn. But ambush allows you to attack straight away, but only into your opponent's units to take them out, so have a bit more control. Now, along with that, you've got some pretty nice units like Mon Mothma, allow you to have some consistency with rebels, and also a nice turn 1 play. So when it comes down, top 5 search for a rebel, reveal it and draw it. Then you've got Akbar as well, being a nice, adding a bit more restore, like commanders have a bit of restore in it as well, and a bit of removal. That's the same stats as Mon Mothma, which is a bit more health. Also a rebel, but when played, you can deal damage to a unit equal to the number of units you control in the same arena. So if you target a space arena, you do damage to your opponent's unit equal to the amount of units you have in your space arena, and in the same thing ground to ground. You also have Wedge as well, which is a nice high costing unit. Pretty nice stats, same as like Ghost as we've seen, just a bit cheaper than Ghost, and it adds a bit of benefit when you have vehicles, which is more space units or even like some ground units, where they gain 1/1 to the stats, also gain ambush, so they get like kind of like board control, which is nice. You also have Rogue Squadron, which is quite a nice one, quite 6 cost, but remember hand can ramp outside of needing ever cards to ramp, so you can get this out a little bit quicker. It comes with ambush its own, so it doesn't need Wedge, or it has ambush. 4/6 to its stats is pretty nice, and also when played allows you to return any unit that costs 2 or less from your discard pile to your hand, so you can get back something you lost previous in the turn. And then one of the best cards that kind of go with Han, that it's just amazing, one of the best rares in the game, is U-Ring Reinforcement. This is a nice one, 7 costing, so you'll be able to get this by the time you get to turn 5, or turn 4 really. Yeah, turn 4 you'll be able to get this out and be able to use it, so it's quite early considering it's a 7 cost, and it allows you to look at the top 10 cards of your deck and play up to 3 units with a combined cost of 7 or less and play them out for free. So you can get potentially 3 units out, 2 units out, or 1 huge unit out off this, which is nice. It does it for the top 10 cards of your deck, so you have to worry about what's in your hand, you just search from there. And you can even get things out that aren't the same aspect, so you can ignore the aspect penalty on cards. I think we forgot that go over the aspect penalty as well, because the aspect penalty is one thing you need to realize. Because the aspect penalty means that if you want to play a card that does aspects that don't match your leader or base, you have to pay an extra 2 for each one. But luckily, it doesn't matter with this, because you get to play them out without worrying about the aspect penalty. So you can play out a dark. So if you're having this is your color aspect combination, you can play out like a dark, a villainy vigilance card without worrying about aspect penalty off this, which is quite nice. So you can like potentially get 3 cards out on board, pretty strong as well, especially as there's some good targets in its aspects, or even combine cards that normally you wouldn't be able to play or have that aspect penalty if you played it hardcasted, and play them for free off this, which is cool. And then you got some other really good cards in it. You got Steadfast Battalion, being a really nice one, especially when combined with Energy Conversion Lab, that allow you to use in combat, take anything out. Because as long as you have Han out on and these deployed in the ground arena, when this comes into play and attacks, you can, if you control your leader, which hopefully you do, it gives an extra 2/2 to a friendly unit for the phase. So you can give it to itself, so swinging at 7/7. Or another unit, so it's really, really handy, very good way to ambush and take out leaders before they even get going with Energy Conversion Lab. And also it's Overwhelm, so if it does any excess damage, so if that damage exceeds the health on the card, the excess goes to your opponent's base. You also have Reinforcement Walker, being a very nice one, where on play to 1 attack, you get look at top card of your deck, and either draw that card, or you can discard it and heal free.
so that's quite nice. And also you can drop that quite easily with hand, like ramp up the drop this, and it helps mitigate the hands, like low hand size, by being able to draw cards. So if you choose not to heal, you can always use it to just add more cards to your hand anytime it's played or attacked. Very nice card. You got some other ones like Consulted Star Viper, very good space unit, very good stats for its cost, and if you got the initiative, gives you a bit more heal as well, so that's very nice. And some very good events like upgrades and events like Traitors here, being a snag when your opponent's low costed cards help against aggro, like combat and with their own units, and also resupply, allowing you to ramp as well. And also this one's a permanent ramp, not temporary ramp like Han is. So these are very nice cards, and probably Command is one of the best combinations. Probably go for Han. Oh, I would say like with aggression, probably aggression and Command being the best way to go. And Command offers a lot of nice things and are a very flexible way to play as well. Then we go to aggression. This also gives you a nice little benefit because Heroic in aggression has a lot of good cards, and it has some nice ones that go very well with Han. Like you have the base as well, being Tarkin Town, which isn't the most amazing, but still pretty nice. Because this epic action allows you to deal 3 damage to a damaged non-leader unit, so you can deal 3 damage to something that's already damaged, but you can't just do 3 damage outright. But if you try to take out something and don't get, you are just a bit short on the damage it needs to take it out, Tarkin Town can finish it off. And you have some very good units in the heroic side. So you have some very good space units in like Green Squadron A-Wing and Red 3, both doing like 3 damage when they swing, because they've got the raid, but they don't do too much damage when they attack. It's quite cheap to play out as well. And even Red 3 giving all their very friendly heroic units raid 1, so they hit a bit harder, including your leader as well. Got K2SO being one of the like strongest and most annoying units to play out from aggression, because it comes down solid stats with its cost. Has overwhelm, so any excess damage it does when attacking something goes to your opponent's base. And then it's got, even if you thought that was pretty nice, it's even got when defeated, you can choose for each opponent, choose either to deal 3 damage to a player's base, even more damage for more aggression, or discard a card as well. So that goes quite nice with like a bit of control as well, which works out quite nicely. And then in the like heavier side and higher side of aggression, you have Black 1 being a very nice one. Goes pretty well with Han. Not the best stats to its cost, because it's cost 6 but only is 4/4. But when played or when defeated, you can discard your hand and draw 3. So since Han kind of like has a low hand side, you can do this to kind of replenish your hand, which is very, very nice. And you've got Mace Window as well, being a little bit of a higher costing, better stats though than Black 1. Has Ambush that comes in and attacks straight away. But then when this unit attacks and defeats a unit, you can ready him. So you can come down, ambush, take something out, restand him so you can attack again and kind of clear board or hit hard to base. So some very nice cards for the heroic side. And then the non-heroic side, you've got some other nice cards you can have. So you've got Jedi Agitator, where on attack, if you control a leader, you can deal 2 damage to a ground unit at base. You can kind of like put more damage out, because aggression is quite well just throwing out damage willy-nilly. Also Saboteur to ignore Sentinel, but it's not the most not the most bulky card, but is pretty nice. You also have Wolf as well, who's also got Saboteur, but also prevents your opponent from healing. So if you're trying to focus on just going aggro and just going at their base, Wolf can help stop them from healing damage off. You got Saber Fang Fighter as well, to knock off those pesky upgrades from cards just when it's played. And you got some nice events like Mission Briefing is a nice one for free. You can choose a player, draw 2 cards, so you can also choose yourself, because remember, you are a player. You can, so it's basically a free cost that draws 2. Helps mitigate hands low hand size if you need to. And you got Bombing Run. So Bombing Run is quite a nice one, where you choose any arena and you deal 3 damage to each unit in that arena. So if you get aggroed down, your opponent's going quite hard in like the ground arena with units, or space arena with units, you can use Bombing Run to just do 3 damage to them, which would take out most like low costing ones as well. So pretty nice cards. And also remember, you got the heroic side of the you got heroic cards as well. There are cards that are just heroic, so you got some very nice ones like Wing Leader, allowing to give 2 experience tokens to a rebel unit when you played. Fleet Lieutenant, allowing attack with a unit, and if it's a rebel unit, give an extra +2 to attack. General Dodonna, just boosting all other rebels by 1/1, and Your Moni Hope, which is a very nice one that pairs really well if you can kind of anticipate what's on top of your deck, to allow you to look at the top card of your deck and play it for 5 less. And if your base has 5 or less enemy HP, you can play it immediately for free instead. So if you like, when you're lower on your life, you can potentially play out something from the top of your deck for free. If you accept like a huge card, that's pretty sick. So that's the heroic side. Remember that you get a benefit of the rebels. While Han is not a rebel, there's quite a few rebels in the heroic side of any of the aspects, so you can get some good benefits from those. And then you might be thinking, what's the benefit of what does Han bring to the table? What like is benefits from his aspects, like Cunning and Heroism? Well, you do have some nice ones. You have like some really good units, like Millennium Falcon being a very good one that pairs really well with Han because it has very nice stats, free cost, that it has free 4 power, comes in ready as well, so it can attack the same like straight away. Doesn't follow the same suit as most cards where they come in rested, comes in active, and you do have the downside of when you ready during the regroup phase, you have to either pay 1 or it bounces back to your hand. But luckily, you can always just when it comes to your turn, when it comes to the regroup phase, tap 1 for a Millennium Falcon. Then during the next action phase, you have when you have to if you used hand the previous turn, then you have to sack off a resource. You can sack off the one you tapped with Millennium Falcon, meaning you don't really lose anything, which is quite cool. You also have Ezra Bridger being a very nice one, where when it completes an attack, so it needs to attack and survive, you can look at the top card of your deck and either play it, discard it, or leave on top. So it helps set up things like You're My Only Hope, and also just be able to play things higher from the top of your deck, which is very nice. And Han can help you ramp up your resources to make sure you've got enough resources to play it if it's quite a big unit. You also have Han and Chewie being in some very high costing units in it. The Chewie being a Sentinel, which whenever he's attacked with a lot of HP as well, allows you ready him, so you can play him out. Your opponent has to attack to him to get to your base, and every time he's attacked, restand and then swing and then hopefully be used again. And Han coming down as his own unit, 7 costs, a quite high one, but he's got 6 hits to his stats, ambush as well, so he can come down and attack immediately into opponent's units. And he's got the benefit of when attacking, this unit deals damage before the defender. So if you take out the defending unit due to damage, they don't do any damage back if they're taken out first. Then you also got Bamboozle, like you saw. Nice little one, you can play this for free from your hand by discarding another Cunning unit, and Cunning card. And this allows you to exhaust any unit and then return each upgrade on that unit back to its hand. So your opponent just stacks up loads of loads of upgrades on a unit, or you got like shields and experience on it. You can just go rest, get rid of all that, and that's gone. Very nice handy card, but more situational than most. And then in just in Cunning, you got some really nice space units like Outer Rim Headhunter, Pirate Starfighter, and Strafing Gunship. All really nice units. The first 2 having raid, so that when they attack, you do more damage. Outer Rim being very useful with if hands on board, where if you keep your leader out, you can exhaust the non-leader unit every time it attacks. Then you got Pirate Starfighter, allowing you to get anything that's damaged, or you want to use the on play effect out again, because whenever you play it, you have to return another friendly unit. You have to return a friendly unit to his owner's hand. That's not a leader, and so you can't play this on its own because it would have to bounce itself. But if you have anything out that's already out, that's attacked or has it on one play you want to use again, or you just want to basically put back your hand since it's taken damage and kind of heal it, play it out again, you can always do that. And Strafing Gunship being the only card at the moment that kind of ignores the rules of the game, where normally you have to attack in the same arena, so ground to ground, space to space, but Strafing Gunship has an effect that allows it to bypass it, allowing it to attack units in the ground arena. And if it does attack units in the ground arena, it takes 2 less damage back, which is very, very nice. You also have some very good events like Shoot First, like Han's signature phrase, or signature move, being attacking with a unit, giving it +1 its power for that attack, but then it deals combat damage before the defender. So basically, what the effect of the Han unit has, but you can give it to anything while also having an extra plus in its power. You also have some higher costing events like Change of Heart, allowing you to take any control of any of your opponent's units, non-linear units anyway, until the end of the turn, and be able to use it in every way you want. So you can take something big off your opponent's board, have use of it, and you use it yourself, or basically just make it so they can't use it themselves. So that's it. So those are all the different options you have for Han Solo. The best ones, the most popular ones are normally aggression and command. Command's making a lot more waves and becoming a lot more popular at the moment, but aggression is a very good one. Vigilance could be a nice one, but hasn't seen too much play, or hasn't got as many useful things to go with Han's effect to kind of ramp up or kind of benefit, with basically much synergy. And you got Double Cunning, which could be a good one to do, but you're very limited in your card pool. But still, there's a lot of nice cards in Cunning. You just have a little bit less of a card pool, so it comes down to deck building for that. So hopefully that's helped you out, learn how to build, help you understand how to build Han Solo, how to build it to best suit you and to benefit your playstyle, and hopefully you can give it a try out. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and keep up for the last one and next one as we go over how to build
Jin Urso. Bye for now.